Welcome to the Reddit library. People who have pretended to fall asleep. What is something interesting you've overheard? I was dozing off in my bed with my girlfriend at the time when I heard her confess her love for me. She was pretty hammered, but she went into intricate detail about how she feels respected, enjoys the sex, and sees a serious future with me. The next morning I got yelled at for not cuddling, and that it was a major issue. I don't think she even knew of her confession. *spelling. Has she ever called you a football head, by any chance? I heard my roommate on a cruise ship getting viciously and sloppily finger-banged for over an hour, while the guy kept saying to her to, "Guess how many fingers are in you now? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?" My mum told a friend via telephone, "I thought my husband was cheating, so now I do it too. I still don't know what to do." Edit. My father has not cheated and it's proven. My mum is just stupid. They are getting divorced now. Could they be talking about their diets? Edit. Diet of man parts. Night after drinking with friends, I wasn't really pretending, more trying to keep my head from spinning. I overhear my buddy say to my other friend, "I wonder how easy it is to smother someone to death." I'd have said something about keeping one eye open when you sleep for that exact reason. But you were having the spins. That's a valid reason to not fire off a response. I always sleep with one eye open. Blah, good thinking. It's much harder to smother someone who is covered in vomit. Back in grade school, I was over at a friend's place with a couple other friends for a sleepover. We were watching Kenny vs Penny, the episode where they see who can go around naked the longest or something. His mom comes in and thinks he watching Happy Moving Pictures. Naturally we pretend to be asleep while his mom reams him out and thinks he's watching Happy Moving Pictures in front of us. Sorry Scott, good times though. A loud fart followed by "oh crud," and then some shuffling sounds. Was it the sound of jimmies? I believe that would be more of a rustling sound. I was drunk at a party and couldn't fathom the world, so I lay down, closed my eyes in a dark room. I heard two of my friends come in. One came over to me and poked me in the ribs, then said, "It's fine, he's asleep." Then proceed to talk about how both of them were cheating on their boyfriends and who at the party they wanted to duck. Not you, apparently. Surprising I was included on the list. After they left, I spent the next 10 minutes quietly laughing. Did you go for it? He was dying, man. That is a terrible superpower. A French girl I met in a hostel came into where I was sleeping and just sat there. I had just cut it off with her, so I didn't want to deal with her crud, so I pretended to be asleep for a few minutes. She just mumbled random crud. She was pretty drunk. Finally, what got me up was when, in the cutest French accent, she told me she was going to set me on fire in my sleep. I should have mentioned that. Yes, I did sleep with her again after that. Sometimes you gotta do messed up crud to stay not on fire. Honestly, that's really hot. You were in France, you said? It almost got a lot hotter, by the sounds of things. My parents talking dirty while they were doing it. Edit. I was around 6 to 8 years old. This is the stuff of nightmares. Worst part is they saw they had woken me up and I had to pretend to sleep again. I had been sleeping on the couch in my CCA room in school and I heard my name just as I woke up, so I stayed put to eavesdrop. A couple of mates were talking about me in a positive light and saying nice things about me without knowing I was awake. It was really nice to hear it, especially since I was a relatively low point at that time. Every time I think about this I feel good, even though it's been a half dozen years or so, and it always reminds me to uphold those good characteristics. When I was a kid, my mom would make my brother and me take naps for like 45 minutes. I pretended like I was sleeping, and I heard my mom talking on the phone to my grandma. During the conversation, I assume my grandma asked what my brother and I were up to, because she said Imhali's brother is sleeping, and Imhali is pretending to be asleep. I was like, duck. She said she knew I was faking, because my mouth was closed, and whenever I'm actually asleep my mouth is slightly open. Ever since that day, whenever I'm pretending to be asleep for whatever reason, I keep my mouth slightly open. Thanks for the tip, Mom. Your mom only told you that to know when you're faking your sleep. You got, or because she really didn't give two cruts whether or not he was actually asleep. She just wanted 45 minutes of silence. As a parent, can confirm. I don't care if they never sleep, so long as they're quiet and leave me alone for a while. As a parent of 4, the eldest being 11, this is the greatest tool in parenting. Edit. Thanks for all the PMs everyone. Yes, it still works. No, my wife and I are not Catholic. We shouldn't have kids at all, seeing as she is infertile. Guess I have super swimmers. On my way back from a race in Colorado and my buddy got pulled over for speeding an hour. I was on the bench seat sprawled out trying to sleep. When we pulled over I asked what's going on. We are getting pulled over. I promptly said you guys deal with that crud, I'm going to sleep. Pretended to be asleep and heard the cop go, what the duck's up with your buddy? Is he okay? And give my friends a ton of crud for having me asleep in the back. GG, cop didn't try and wake me though. Now that I think of it, that's not even the first time. I was a freshman in college and a couple friends rented a house in Rio and us all being underage idiots proceeded to have massive party. Cops raided it. I ran upstairs and jumped in a bed and cops barge in looking for crud. Shining the flashlight in my face. I still pretend to be asleep. They call over and are like, hey, so and so this kid's ducked up. They laugh, find a little weed on the other bed in the room, proceed to let me sleep through everything. It does work. I was less than 3 feet away as one of my best friends took a 9 years virginity. We traveled from the Bay to LA to attend a rave with some girls we met at EDC a few months prior. After all the partying took place, one buddy took the older sister to his car, and my other buddy started making moves on the younger sister. I was sleeping on the floor and was petrified because I felt like if I moved, it would kill his game. So I sat through the most awkward sexual experience of my life to help him get laid. It was short and sporadic, but they both seemed to enjoy it, I think. So I think I made the right decision pretending to be asleep on the floor as they bunny humped on the bed literally 2.5 feet from me. The realest bro ever award goes to. Someone should link the guy that didn't want his parents to walk in on his buddy and a girl, but they were being so loud, so he pulled up some porn and cranked up the volume and pretended not to notice his dad walking into the room and awkwardly backing out. My mom to her friend, when I was like 8, I don't actually even like her. She's so annoying, I want to get rid of her. Naturally I burst into tears. She said she was sorry, she knew I was awake, and it was just a joke. She's got a cruel sense of humor. A joke. Yeah, totally. Well, I do hope it was. Weekend retreat at church camp. My buddy and another friend's girl and I ended up in a room with 2 bunk beds. We were chilling when I realized that I was the third wheel, so I powered down. First there were tests to see if I was awake, then she climbed to his top bunk, then kissing, then her moaning, then her telling him he should wash his hand. I got bored and did some fake sleep talking. They laughed and continued, but they called it a night without rounding home. She left and I figured it was best to not give high fives till the next day. I don't know why I waited until we were at his house. Maybe she rode back with us. Still, it was my first time playing Super Nintendo, and as he handed me the controller that would introduce me to Yoshi, I asked him, "You did wash your hands, right?" He was so thrilled to get to talk to someone about it. Did he though? He did. Phew. I remember way back I couldn't sleep on Christmas Eve, you know, being a little kid and all. So during this sleepless night, where I guess my parents thought I was asleep, I heard my dad say, "Where do you think we should hide the new puppy?" That was pretty much at the top of my list, so naturally I was excited that I was getting a puppy. They talked for a good 20 minutes about the puppy, saying things like how should we keep it from barking before he finds him? Before I dozed off. Next morning, I discovered that my parents knew I was awake and just decided to duck with me. There was no goddamn puppy. I got a Gamma Boy though, so it wasn't too bad. How do we keep him from barking? They actually did get you a puppy, but unfortunately. Was spending the night at a friend's house. I'm a guy, she's a girl. Brought my friend over because we were out partying. We all slept in the same room. I was laying on the floor near my friend when I heard my friend Andrea call my name. Wanting to sleep, I ignored her, not moving, to which she responded, "Okay, Andy, I think he's asleep. Come here." About 5 minutes later I hear the bed squeaking and her soft moans. One of them sneezed about 15 minutes into it, in which I responded, "Bless you." They immediately stopped. 10/10ths would do again. Holy crud, I got gilded. Thanks, my gold was expiring in a few days. Now I can spend more time picking out these smokes instead of worrying about being gilded. Savage.